Response video to a couple of videos on Vloggerheads covering economics. This first one is this guy who claims that there's all kinds of opportunity for mom and pop growth, and they actually featured this video, which I don't understand because it's nothing, it's fluff, it's nonsense. So I'll do the first half of it maybe.
Hey, what's going on? This is Jeeves. I'm taking a break real quick because I wanted to do a shout out to America. You know, with everything that's going on right now with AIG getting their ass grilled and stuff like that for the bonus payouts, there's no two ways about it. The biggest lesson that America's learned so far, and all of us citizens in America, is that corporate greed, American corporate greed, mixed in with, I'm sure, other countries, have really screwed the people. But
yeah, right. And no, they haven't just merely screwed them, okay? They have catastrophically fucking screwed them. This isn't about fucking bonuses and other little bullshit. This is about the richest people in the world going to get a lot richer and everybody else going to be a serf.
In reality, this is probably the single most important and the best thing that could have ever happened.
The best thing that could ever happen. Yes, another depression. Because that's what we're going to have, fella. So all this optimistic talk is just complete bullshit. Alright, you got $50 trillion in personal debt that has to be somehow you're going to liquidate this. And so far, every indication is that every single IOU is going to be honored. Okay, whether the poor person can pay it or not, we're going to pay the rich holder.
To America, only because, notwithstanding the hardship that so many millions of people that are feeling right now, but this is the time that we get to take control.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're discounting it pretty fucking substantially, all right? This is no time for some kind of happy, nothing's going wrong talk, okay? Yeah, Henny Penny ain't gonna help, but whatever this crap is, whatever this tripe propaganda is, this ain't what people got to be thinking either. You can't save the old system. We have to fix it, and fix it with hard fucking choices.
This is the time that I believe the mom and pops of the world, all of you who have great ideas with products and moving things,
yeah, only if you are one of the rare people who are holding no fucking debt, okay? Because if you're holding any debt at all, this ain't no wonderful time for you, okay? You're not going to be able to borrow any money for doing any innovating, and you're going to have to compete in a market, okay, that's contracting. All right, and in that contraction, the margin for error is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and you're going to have to work for less and less money.
The time that you can completely kick ass and take no hostages and develop that. There are a lot.
Yeah, nobody's going to be doing any ass kicking, okay? This is a tumble down a frickin' mountain, all right? No one's going to win, and the people in the front of the bus are going to get it bad.
A lot of mom and pop starting to spring up. And when I'm talking about mom and pop...
Yeah, what do you back that up with? What do you back it up with? Absolutely nothing. All right, what's happening out there is a lot of mom and pops are going out of business, okay, because the margin of error has gotten so narrow.
Pops, I'm talking about, while all these corporate restaurants and corporate things that are folding and falling apart, the resurgence, a slow resurgence of mom and pop deliverables of foods and retail services and goods is starting to spring back up, and it's springing back.
Yeah, well, like I said, where's your evidence of that? All right, there's no evidence of anything springing up in this environment. The only thing that's happening is that yes, the environment's it's contracting, and it's not going to come back because consumers aren't going to have the cash, the money, the disposable surplus to pay it. All right, so there's going to be a huge contraction. With that, the contraction, more contraction, because the people who were part of the fluff economy are no longer going to have fluff dollars to stimulate more consumption. So the whole thing, this is a bubble, and the air is going out. It's not coming back in yet.
Because people from America, or American ingenuity, entrepreneurs, every single one of us, I don't care if you've worked 30 years at an auto line facility, whatever, you've had ideas, things that you could have done, things you might see done differently, you might be past.
Oh, come on, dream on. Most innovation is very complex in its nature nowadays, okay? It takes a whole team of people to create something, a true innovation, all right? I mean, it's about technology now, and a lot of that technology requires a network of people to enhance and upgrade it. And so this is just, people aren't going to be inventing the cure for cancer on their porch.
passionate about something, making candles, I don't know, or building the next satellite of the world.
Yeah, right. The next satellite. Somebody's going to be doing that in their living room. Come on. All right, enough of this guy. It's just all, whatever it is. I don't know what his mission is, but it has something to do with the words B and S. So, screw that. All right, let's go to Bantam, the Mumbler, and I'm not going to play too much. I'll play the beginning maybe. I don't know. I'll pick a random spot in his video and start there.
And I've seen criticism from the right on this plan, which kind of tells me that it must be fairly centrist if it's getting criticism from the far right and far left.
Now, isn't that one of the lamest arguments? Come on, this idea that somehow, well, if the right's against it and the left's against it, it must be a good idea. When did some sort of, mediocrity of broken compromise all of a sudden become the right way to do something? I mean, there's no law or rule of nature that says that makes any sense. The only fringe you want to eliminate from the equation or from influence on what is done is the idiots, okay? You can't assume they're on both ends of the spectrum all the time. There's lots of them sitting in the middle just saying, well, I don't know, I don't know, whatever they say, whatever compromise they come to must be right, so that's just nonsense. And as for the criticism, they're criticizing, we see what they're criticizing, okay? I mean, it's the same standard operating procedure. I mean, the right's criticizing spending for social spending, investment in people and their lives, because they only want investment in the in the engine of their capitalist, I want to make more money on my surplus dreams. All right, and the other side is playing the traditional, let's try to generate, pay teachers more money or some other thing like that's going to solve a problem. Let's feed a dead institution that needs to be reformed. Let's preserve some archaic way of doing things because there's people involved. A little too simplistic, universal health care, but let's not define exactly what that means. But whatever, we see those two sides are still arguing the same nonsense, and we don't have anything on this table. What's obviously on this table is completely, the reason why the rich aren't hysterical, and you don't hear it every day, is because they're winning this freaking war. All right, who's getting bailed out? I'll just go through the rest of what he says in his thing. The big one for me is this banking thing. He's basically arguing that, yes, it's great, let's save the banks. We somehow need to buy all these toxic assets, whatever that means. And why don't you define what those are? What those are is investment vehicles that were full of crap, okay? The gamblers decided to play a stupid slot machine. And somehow we're obligated somehow to save them from their mistake and put them back to the way they were. So they get to fly to Las Vegas, lose all their money. We give them all their money back and fly them back home. What the fuck is that? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to just throw the question, why save banks? There's no reason to save them. Okay, you just liquidate them, okay, and then like with every other business that goes bankrupt, you just restructure them again. What's the big deal? Lots of telecom companies in the last 10 years have gone bankrupt, and people still seem to have cell phones, and their cable still seem to work, and everything was okay. It's not a big deal. Okay, you can maintain the infrastructure and just call the losers the losers. But instead, we've decided to save the richest people in the world. To make sure you understand, that's what we're doing. We're not saving people who had bank accounts getting 3% interest. We're saving people who have gained billions and billions of dollars of gain off of this artificial bubble economy. All right, they've sucked billions of dollars out of this economy, and you want to give them back. You want to make sure they get to keep every penny of it. It was a damn bubble. Who should pay for the bubble? The working man? I don't think so. I think the people who created the bubble should be paying for the bubble. They're the ones who are buying stock on leverage. Why should we bail them out? It's bullshit. So I don't get that one bit. You're right about look, the Fed is just playing the game. They shouldn't be part of the government. and them printing the bond, money now just to buy our bonds. I mean, we're not going to be able to sell our bonds, okay? Another year from now, we're not going to be able to sell them. I don't even think we could sell them now. I think that's half the reason why the Fed decided this mechanism of printing the money to buy our bonds is that it knew it wasn't enough money out there to buy them. China holds, everybody's always talking about how China owns our debt. Well, China owns $2 trillion of our debt. Guess what? We just added $2 trillion more dollars to our debt. So every asset that China holds, we're going to ask the world to come up with another $2 trillion. Who exactly is going to pay that $2 trillion to buy those bonds? Who? Where's the money going to come from? Where's the other China that's going to buy all those bonds? And that was the doom. Because the only way we could sell those bonds is we're going to have to make them high. We're going to have to price them higher, and then the inflation thing starts. So to put off inflation for a while and keep things deflating, they've decided to buy our own debt. Okay, but it's not going to work. It has no long-term hope. All right, it's a doom. It's not going to work. But it just gives them time. It gives the rich time to consolidate their assets to protect them from the disaster. So then when things really go wrong, they hold all the real assets, and the rest of us hold a bunch of that paper crap that won't be worth anything anymore. We're not coming out of this, okay, unscathed with some sort of, status quo policy decision. The only thing that's going to fix this problem is dramatic action. All right, we have to liquidate everything. We have to kind of basically blow it all up, okay, reevaluate everything, try to be fair to all the players involved, okay, and divvy up what our real assets are, the real assets of the United States of America are, and we have to give it back to people in some sort of dollar that has that represents a real asset, not one that's been destroyed by all this game playing for decades. So there's going to be a choice in the end. It's going to be the rich or the working person. That's the choice, because we have no hope of having a booming economy coming out of this. There's no war economy, and even if there was, it wouldn't matter, because we'd still be buying our war materials from China. All right, the cheapest laborers are going to win this. Whoever's got the most slaves is going to win this. So unless you have some plan, you have some way of you figured out that you're going to get more work out of the American people, this is doomed to fail. Okay, because we're not going to win in a real competitive market, because no one's going to want to buy our spam. And that's all we're producing. And you talked even about these bank bonuses and that, oh yeah, we should give it to them because it's a contract, and they do. What the fuck did these guys do? What was their job? It's bad enough these guys were paid $500,000 a year. To give them $500,000 bonuses for what? What was their grand engineering feat? They engineered a scheme to sell people shit. Okay, they created toxic assets. We're paying them a bonus because they created a toxic asset. I mean, that's ludicrous. They shouldn't have had their jobs in the first place. The only reason why they had these jobs, the only reason why they were paid this much money, is because they probably came to the job with a bunch of insider information, some sort of connections that made them valuable in terms of screwing the fucking system. All right? They weren't paid because they were doing honest work. All right? None of these bankers are doing honest work. Banking is not goddamn nuclear physics. Okay, maybe it's quantum theory, but it's not goddamn nuclear physics. All right, it's bullshit. It's engineering a cheat through everything. All right, so whatever. It's fine. Ambiguous mush talk about the economy is fine, but I don't think it goes anywhere. There's real problems. How do you fix $50 trillion in personal debt and $13 trillion in national debt? How the fuck do you ever pay that money back? What's the scenario? All right, I just don't see any scenario that doesn't involve thousands of percentage points as in inflation. There's no way. There's the destruction of the American dollar. It has to happen. I don't know how you could possibly liquidate all that debt. I mean, that debt equals more than the asset value of everything 95% of the American people own. Okay, how the hell can they give back more than they own? Ugh, damn it. I mean, we got to look at this equation the simplest way possible. There's people holding the IOUs, and there's people who owe the frickin' money. And the two aren't going to, there's no compatibility there, because the guy holding the IOU says, you owe me 3 of these things, and the guy who owes the money only has 1. All right, that's the game. So how do you extract those extra 2? How? What? And besides putting a you know, involuntary servitude chain around their neck, how are you going to get 3 times their lifetime productivity out of them in the future? How are you going to make them work 3 jobs tomorrow? Okay, enough ranting. Thank you very much. The end.